Hi guys. This is a very different video than I've made so far. I know I've talked to you guys about, our infertility journey, and I've touched on that quite a bit, I think, and I'm very happy that I've done that. Next week, I was going to announce that I was pregnant. And we lost the baby. But I still want to talk to you about the most amazing little miracle that's ever happened to me in my life. And I want to share that with you. And I want to share how beautiful it was. On Halloween, I found out I was pregnant. And it was a really nice time to find out because my husband had proposed to me on Halloween. And I don't know what it is about Halloween, but we get very blessed on Halloween. And yeah, I found out I was pregnant and I had no idea. This was, we were gonna go for IVF in January. If you're new to my channel, I have been struggling with low ovarian reserve. My husband and I have been trying for a baby for 2 years, and we were getting a lot of bad news that because I have low ovarian reserve, you're not as likely to get pregnant through IVF and IUI and all of these medical interventions, that they can kind of help a lot of couples, which is brilliant and amazing that it can help so many. So when I found out that I was pregnant, I was totally in IVF mode, full out, totally into IVF mode. And I was at work and I was like, it's really weird. I'm like 4 days late. And my periods had become really regular, and that was a first time for me. Like, they were 28 days on the mark for like 3 or 4 months, and that was really exciting. So my husband was like, well, maybe you're pregnant. And I was like, no, that's not what it is at all. And I went to the store and I bought pads, and I really didn't think I was pregnant. And then I went home for lunch and I thought, I'm just going to take a test. And I took the test and there were 2 lines. And I had never seen 2 lines before, and it's still the most amazing, the best moment of my life. It was amazing. I literally was screaming and I was running all over the house and I was running all over the bedroom, and meanwhile there are these construction workers working outside, and I was completely oblivious to them, and I just kept saying thank you, and I couldn't believe that I was pregnant. And I told Barry that night, and he was just as shocked as I was, and I had to pull out the test for him to really realize that we were pregnant. And after that, and until we miscarried, it felt like Christmas Day every morning when we would wake up. You'd wake up and be like, oh my God, this is real. And it's beautiful and brilliant and surprising and a complete miracle. It was a complete miracle. We were told we had a 5% chance of getting pregnant naturally. And I don't know, we defied the odds, and it was really amazing. I also told my parents and my family, my sister and her little family, very early on. I told them at 5 weeks, and we showed them, we told them by having this little bandana thing for Libby. I'm going to insert a clip of it here. So she had this little bandana that said "Big Sister," and it was so exciting. My sister picked up Libby and she's like, "Big Sister," and then she's like, "I have a dog." She thought we were getting another dog, and I was said, no, like a baby. And they were so excited. And in retrospect, I'm so glad that I told my family so early. I'm really glad. I told a lot of my friends who were also surprised and so happy. I told my boss, who is one of the kindest people I know, which is very nice, and I'm very lucky, and I felt so supported. I told her about the whole IVF experience, and that I was going on that journey, and she was ready for that, and she was supportive of that, and then she was just incredibly happy for us. And then on Christmas Eve, we told my nanny, which is also very nice, and then on Boxing Day, we told Barry's mom and his stepdad. And it's hard with miscarriage because there's usually a lot of signs. It might happen suddenly, but you'll have a lot of signs. But my pregnancy was so good. I had all of the, sure tell signs of pregnancy. Like, I was exhausted all the time. I went to bed at 8. I had to go to bed at 8. There was no like 8:15 for me until much later on. And I had morning sickness. Like, sometimes it was very random. I was like throwing up in the shower, throwing up in the car, and I was more nauseous than throwing up, I would say. But those two things were there, and they were there very strong until probably the end of week 10, early of week 11, which is often like on your pregnancy apps, they'll say you might be starting to feel better. So I thought everything was fine. We also had 2 ultrasounds. We had one earlier on. I was at the very end of week 6, like on that cross between week 6 and week 7. And there was a strong heartbeat, and the baby was measuring perfectly, and according to when we thought. So that was really good. And then I had a tiny bit of brown discharge at the end of week 7, and so I was able to book another ultrasound for the beginning of week 8. And the baby had grown, and the heartbeat was even stronger. And when you find out that the heartbeat is really strong like that, it's a very good indication. And I don't want to scare anyone who might be pregnant watching this. It's a really good indication. I read a statistic that said that if you're 8 weeks along and you find a very strong heartbeat, you have a 98% chance of everything being fine. So I really started to let go of my anxiety surrounding miscarriage, because that was really strong for a really long time. I was really nervous. And I was doing like anything that had ever been associated with miscarriage, I was avoiding. Like, I wasn't drinking coffee or even decaf coffee. Obviously, I wasn't having any alcohol. Like, I was really being incredibly careful. So, what I have had is a missed miscarriage. I went in for my 12-week ultrasound. So this is the ultrasound where they start looking for Down syndrome. And so that was on my mind. I was thinking about Down syndrome and what our life would be like if we had a child with Down syndrome. And I was preparing for that. And I was preparing for that whole journey. As you get older, your chances of that happening are increased. And so I was really putting myself into that. And that morning, it was yesterday, and Barry and I were joking about, the baby might be like dancing around and kicking and stuff at this time, and I was so excited to see that. And so we went in for our 12-week ultrasound. I think it was 12 weeks and 2 days. And they started out with like a normal like tummy ultrasound. And she was like, this baby is measuring a lot earlier than 12 weeks. She said it was measuring more like 9 weeks. So she's like, go to the washroom and come back and I'll do an internal ultrasound. So I kind of knew at that point, and I was still praying that it wasn't, but I went pee and came back, and like she was there, and I just took off my pants. I'm like, you don't even have to leave the room. We're all gonna get closer right now. Let's just hop on the bed and find out what's going on. And she left to get a wedge or something anyway, but whatever. She came back in and she did an internal ultrasound, and she was looking around and not saying very much, and I just held on to her arm, and I said to her that she had a very hard job, because can you imagine having to hold someone and be professional? I couldn't do that job. Yeah, so she said, legally I can't say anything, and she didn't. She was very, very professional, but I asked her, were you able to get a heartbeat? And she was like, I had a hard time finding a heartbeat and detecting a heartbeat. So Barry and I knew at that point that our baby was gone. It sounds like it was 9 weeks and 4 days that the baby's heart just stopped beating, and we were shocked. We were really surprised, because I still had all of the signs. Like a week before, I had thrown up in the car. Like I was still exhausted, but I was starting to feel better, but that's normal for that time. I wish that I had gone in for more ultrasounds, and if Barry and I are ever blessed to have a baby again, I'm going to request weekly ultrasounds, which I know is way too many, but considering that I had my last ultrasound at 8 weeks and everything was like amazing, and then 12 weeks everything wasn't, like that's a really long time in pregnancy world. It's not a really long time in the real world, but in pregnancy world, every single week you're looking up what's going on in your app, or like I had 5 apps, so every day I would look and see what's going on with the baby, and the baby's really, really growing. They grow so fast in that period, and they have so many milestones in that time, and I wish that I had learned it sooner. So at this point, the doctor has not like officially confirmed that I've had a miscarriage, but I've had a miscarriage. I'm waiting for them to call. It's the next day, the day after, and they haven't called, so I've like written them and stuff, but they have these weird hours right now because it's Christmas break. I'm assuming that I'm gonna have to go in and get a D&C. I really don't want to. Like, it's very strange, the irrational thoughts that you think when you've had a miscarriage, but honestly, I would be so happy to just keep this baby inside me. I would like that. But obviously that can lead to complications, and like you can get infections and all of these things, and I don't know what they did in the 18th century. Like, I don't know at what point my body would be like, okay, it's time to get rid of this baby who was not alive. Yeah, it's very odd. I'll do it. Obviously, I'm going to do whatever is best for my health. I have to, but it's very hard to have been a mom. Like, I was a mom, and it was the most amazing feeling in the entire world for me, and I want to keep my baby home. I do. hard because I was gonna announce to you guys next weekend I had been doing like videos, like not weekly, but some of them were bi-weekly, and I was gonna do like a month-long one at the end there. They were just so different, and I'm gonna keep those for myself, I think, because they were also true. There's a lot of sadness right now. There's so much sadness in my home right now, but what's kind of amazing is that there's more love and gratitude than sadness. There's a lot more of that than sadness. I was saying to Barry that it is kind of amazing that someone didn't even enter the world, and in 2 months of me knowing that they were there, in those 2 months they changed me for the better. I was feeling very hard. I had become hardened because of infertility, because of all of the disappointment. Hey guys, I'm sorry if I'm in a different place. As I was filming, the doctor called and confirmed that I did have a miscarriage, which I already knew. And I'm gonna go for a D&C. So we're now waiting for the hospital to call to make the appointment, but I think it's gonna be like tomorrow. This baby, I need to bring it back to how happy this baby made us and how it brought me out of a very dark place. For me, going forward, like I wasn't able to bring this baby into the world, and this baby is never going to walk this earth and make the world a better place just by being in it. But it existed, and its existence made me a better person, and I think made Barry a better person. I think we're both better people for having this pregnancy. And so I am going to move through the world differently now because of this baby. This baby made me feel light again and soft again, and that is beautiful, and I want to carry on that legacy that she or he gave to me. Thank you all for all of the love that you've given me. I really appreciate that I can be completely vulnerable with you all like this, and I've always felt held and loved and cared for, and that is so meaningful that you can have a little space on YouTube and people around the world are rooting for you and caring about you, and you're caring about them, and that's pretty magical. I will still be on this channel. I don't know what is going to be ahead of me. Like, I might come out of this whole thing and want to post 7 times a week. I might come out of this thing and not post for 2 or 3 months. I have no idea. I have, I think, a couple more videos that were already pre-filmed and that will be going live, so those will come, but I have no idea what to really expect of myself, so I should just warn you about that now. But thank you so much. This isn't the video that I wanted to make, of course, but it was really important to me to make this video because I don't want to live in a world where I can't talk about the baby that I lost. And it will probably make a lot of people uncomfortable. And that's fine. That's okay. I don't need everyone to be comfortable. So, but I need to honor my child. So I hope you are all really well. I hope you are healthy and happy. And I will see you soon. I love you all. Bye.